Right now I'm here with Doug from Shimano USA. Doug's going to basically talk about the new Shimano reels that came out for 2015. So Doug, what do we have now with Torium?
So Torium's been in our lineup for a number of years, been a workhorse reel for great bottom fishing, striped bass, chunking, all around, inshore reel. We've lightened it up. We've got a thinner housing. As you can see, the new housing is much thinner than the original Torium. We still maintain the same line capacity and increase the drag to 24 pounds of maximum drag. We decreased the size on the crank side of the spool as well, so everything's lighter in weight, much more compact. Really works well with the new braided lines, make everything a little bit smaller.
I noticed your star drags did a little different, more like an aluminum now?
We've changed the star drag material and the handle, lightening everything up, to maintain that light feature that everybody's looking for, with braided lines and all the light graphite rods that are on the market. So,
one of the things people don't realize, like I was telling you, is that these reels, everybody worries because these are aluminum spools, right? They worry about you can't use wire, you can't use wire. I had my Torium 30, probably now it's got to be 10 years plus. When they first came out, been using wire ever since. And as long as you do the proper maintenance, little WD-40, take the wire every year, wipe it.
In fact, we have a new coating on the reels that makes the reel 700 times more corrosion resistant in the areas where there's particular problems, like around the foot.
Right.
So there's new materials that are even more corrosion resistant than the previous Toriums.
Well, they work great, and also another thing that's great for the wireline fishing that we do here on Long Island is that with the Shimano, it's the retrieve. I believe it's a 6.2.
This is 6.2 to 1, just like the originals were. So we maintain that high-speed retrieve and high power with that large diameter gear.
And that helps you now, because now you have a striped bass on wire. He's swimming to the boat. You don't need to be on the throttle. Right.
Not
you just
slacking.
crank a little harder, and you're getting that fish in.
Yep.
I mean, these reels are incredible. Love the Shimano lineup. I mean, you got everything in here. Whatever you need, rods, reels, you got it all.
Jigs. You know what else? We've got some new surf reels. Let me show you one of those. So this is a new series of surf reels for us designed specifically for distance.
Okay.
So it has the long cast spool design and super slow oscillation. So watch the speed that the spool goes up and down at. Very slow oscillation. So the line is packed on the spool evenly and cast without any friction off the layer of the line in front of it. This is a carbon body reel, so it's even lighter in weight than the aluminum versions.
This has got to be what, 3-4 ounces it feels like?
Well, it's a little bit more than that. We match that up with our new long distance casting rods that have the K-frame guides and this new carbon technology to increase distance and keep everything light in weight. So
and with this, you're going what, 30-pound Power Pro?
40-pound Super Slick really performs best on this size reel. Yep.
This is I cannot believe how light this reel is.
And that oscillation is what gives it the distance.
And you can see that.
Super
that's
slow.
amazing.
Yep.
And you basically match this with your surf rod that you have there.
We have a series of surf rods, a 9.5 foot, 10.5 foot, 11 foot, and a 12 footer, all two-piece. Lightweight Fuji reel seats and the K-frame guides.
That's basically one setup right there with the Super Slick in it already.
We also have a new series of Northeast inshore rods we could take a look at. And these were both available in spinning and conventional. Okay. So here's a conventional version of the new Terramar Northeast.
One of my favorite rods.
Nice large diameter reel seat, so your Torium will fit on there. Yep. We lightened up the grips by going to the split EVA. This is made of TC4, so that real strong carbon and T-glass material.
The original, was it TC4 or TC3?
No, they were not TC4, the other Terramars. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have with the core.
New grip shapes, so this is real comfortable if you're going to palm the reel in front, So with the conventional.
Yeah, this is really nice.
6.5 foot, 7 foot, 7.5 foot. And then there's spinning versions as well, again with the large diameter seat so your hand's not cramping up on a small diameter blank. 6.5, 7, 7.5 footers, with Northeast actions in mind. So there's bucktail rods, chunkin rods, live liner rods, and even a heavy one with a gimbal on. You could use tile fishing.
These are one of my favorite rods. I absolutely love these rods. I mean, I have all the originals with the
cork grip ones.
Everything, you name it. The rod's used for anything. Striped bass. I'm a big bucktailer. I have the spinning version of 7.6.
Oh, you're going to like these even better because they're lighter.
I'm going to get a few, but that's 7.6.
Then to match up with that, we've got a new Power Pro line. This is a new fiber that we're working with from Honeywell. Okay. So it's a new Spectra fiber that's 25% thinner than original Power Pro.
Wow.
So 25% thinner. It's going to be available in 50, 65, 80, and 100-pound tests.
Wow.
It's going to be available in green and in high-vis yellow.
Okay.
So we'll be able to use our smaller reels, you know, like we talked about all along. Lighter weight reel, everything's smaller, easier to handle.
That's excellent.
Or use the heavier pound test, and,
Yeah.
a little more over the rail and into the pail.
It looks great. No, the products are incredible. You guys just, every year you outdo yourself even more. And it's
Technology
never
just
ending.
keeps growing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So this is the new Beastmaster 9000 from Shimano. It's a 12-volt electric reel. This reel has a Gigamax motor, so it's a brushless motor. So it's not going to create the heat like some of the other electric reels that have been in the market in the past. You know, it has a control system that will allow you to preset a drop depth, controlled ascent as well to stop at a specific height so you don't bring the rig up through the rod tip. You can program it to jig, in other words, fish up and down at whatever speed and distance you set it at. And it's a very simple, intuitive, control panel on that.
On these reels, like I know, like when I did the deep drop in Florida with the swordfish, when that fish is pulling, that reel's still turning. Now, does that do anything for the drag system, or do they design it that it's okay like that? Because with a spinning rod, you're going against a drag, you screwing it up, and you messed it up.
So this system has an ability to sense that the drag is slipping, so it's not increasing the speed of the Gigamax motor when the drag is slipping, because that's where a lot of heat's created through the drag when it's not actually moving, like you're explaining.
That's some system there. It's great. The line capacity is huge. I mean, you're putting, say, 80-pound tests. I can't even imagine how many yards.
Plenty of line for plenty of line for the deep drop. You bet.
That's beautiful reel. And weight-wise, it weighs really, again, it's very light. All the Shimano
because of the motor system that we've changed, and of course Shimano gearing to make it perform.
And with this reel too, which is nice, you get up, you want to fight it. You
can manually retrieve, of course, at any time. A lot of people are using electric reels. They'll use the electric system just to check bait. If they actually have a fish on, they'll hand train.
You'll have the fight, just traditional way.
You bet. Yep.
Awesome. Again, Doug, thank you for everything.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.